It started with a whisper that reeked of venom. "It's a shame they let people like you ruin a perfectly good bloodline," he muttered at me like it was a compliment. His voice was low, conspiratorial, and full of the kind of bile passed down like family silver. We were both at our mailboxes, a rare moment of proximity. He wasn't talking about me, of course he was talking about my wife, Amora. He was the son of the couple next door, a lumpy sack of hostility wrapped in pale skin and cheap muscle, with the same dead eyes as his mother and the same scowl as his father. That wasn't the beginning. It was just the moment the mask slipped entirely. We had moved into our house 2 years before, drawn by its old bones and a quiet that felt almost serene. We were wrong. The quiet wasn't peace. It was silence soaked in suspicion. Our neighbors, the Millers, kept their lawn trimmed like it was military protocol. Their porch was a stage, their glares the performance. The father, Hank, barely spoke, preferring to grunt his disapproval from a porch swing like a gargoyle. His wife, Marlene, was the voice of their rota-shoe woman dressed in cheap pearls and sharper prejudice. They never acknowledged Amora directly. She was always your wife, or worse, just silence. Complaints about spices when she cooked with the windows open. Side comments about playing in the dirt when she gardened. Amora, a landscape architect with her own farm and awards to her name, was invisible to them except for her skin. My mother, Gloria, a retired history professor who marched during the civil rights era, saw them for what they were the first time she visited. Marlene turned her back on her mid-greeting. Later that day, my mother told me, "That woman's not your neighbor. She's a picket line with a pulse." I didn't want to believe it. I wanted quiet. I wanted normal. But the war was already undeclared or not. It broke open over a package. A box containing a custom ergonomic chair Amora had waited weeks for to ease the pain of long hours hunched over blueprints. It was delivered to the edge of our lawn, right on the border we shared with the Millers. She went out to retrieve it in sweats, her afro glowing in the sun, confident and radiant. That's when Marlene burst out of her house, rage wrapped in a hideous cheetah print tracksuit. Hank and their son, Chad, followed. They stormed across the lawn and cornered Amora as she struggled with the box. "That's not yours. You're stealing!" Marlene screamed, jabbing her red-nailed finger in Amora's face. Amora calmly tried to explain, showed them the shipping label. It didn't matter. "All you people do is lie and steal," Marlene spat, venom dripping with every syllable. The phrase "you people" landed like a slap across time. Hank stepped closer, silent but menacing. Chad smirked. He loved this. That was when Gloria came outside. She saw what was happening and didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "What exactly is the problem here?" she asked, slicing through the madness. Marlene accused Amora of stealing. Claimed she was probably on drugs. Chad threw in something about crack. Amora flinched. Gloria descended the steps like a force of nature and told them clearly, legally, calmly that they were harassing a woman on her own property. She warned them to leave before it became a legal matter. Marlene didn't back down. She called 911. The police came in, hot guns nearly drawn. The officer aimed at Amora, backed at her to step away from the package. Amora froze. Gloria stepped in again, introduced herself as Dia Brina, and showed the video she had recorded. The tide turned. Slowly. Painfully. The older officer rechecked the label. Realized the lie. Marlene, unshaken, insisted, "My feelings are my proof." I felt threatened. Gloria, with the calm of a woman who'd survived wars, said, "Your feelings are not evidence of a crime." We pressed charges. Filed a civil suit. They were forced to move. Public shame spread like wildfire through the neighborhood. But then came the twist. An anonymous email arrived: search for Willowink on Ashavas. Amora followed the trail and found a poetry profile filled with pain, guilt, and longing. The poem spoke of a hidden love, a hateful home, and suffocating shame. It was Chad. He had been in a secret relationship with the Latino nephew of our mailman. The boyfriend, heartbroken and disgusted, had leaked the messages to us not for revenge, but to save Chad from himself. We didn't use the evidence. We didn't need to. But Chad's parents found out. They kicked him out. Told the neighborhood their son was dead to them. Months passed. We replanted the garden. Reclaimed our home. Peace seemed possible until the rust-colored sedan appeared. Then, the garden was poisoned. A scrap of cheetah print caught on a bush. It wasn't over. A dead crow appeared on our porch. My tires were slashed. Security footage showed a hooded figure, but no face. We couldn't prove it was her. But then Chad emailed again. He had received a voicemail from his mother. Slurring. Full of hate. They need to be burned out, she said. Your father knows fire. He's always known. We gave the recording to Officer Ed. A sting was set up. Hidden cameras. A silent street. And then, just past 2 a.m., they came. Hank poured gasoline over our porch. Marlene directed him, high on hatred. Just as the lighter came out, floodlights lit the night. SWAT officers stormed in. Hank collapsed. Marlene screamed like a banshee, spitting at police as she was tackled. They were charged with attempted murder, arson, stalking. Chad testified against them. Their crusade ended not with fire, but in handcuffs and courtrooms. 1 year later, Hemlock Lane is peaceful. The garden thrives. Our new neighbors bring us banana bread. Gloria sits on the porch, her smile easy. Amora sketches in the sun. The chair that started it all sits proudly in her office. An email came from Chad. He's in therapy. Working in a bookstore. Still writing poetry. You didn't destroy me, he wrote. My parents did. You fought them with the truth. And that truth set me free. Some scars don't fade. But even in poisoned soil, something new can grow.